Woo, woo, woo. That wooing means that this is a winning edition of our post-game podcast. Our post-game podcast between the Tennessee Titans and Jacksonville Jaguars, with the Tennessee Titans coming out on top by a final score of 37-16.
Dang, that's hot.
Ooh, that was
right?
That was a hot game down there in Jacksonville. But yes, the Tennessee Titans come out on top, and we are now at 1-1 on the season. Jacksonville fell to 1-1. We own that tiebreaker, so I guess you could say the Titans are #1 in the AFC South right now. Is that a fair assessment?
I mean, it's not even an assessment. That's facts.
That is facts.
Titans are #1 in the AFC South right now.
You can't argue with facts, yeah.
So, gotta love that. Gotta love it.
All right, so let's get into this breakdown now. Our initial thoughts. The game just ended. So Caleb, what did you see in this game? What are your overall reactions here?
So overall reactions is I'm really glad we got the win. I think it was kind of a statement game. A lot of people, surprisingly, were really worried coming into this game with how Jacksonville performed week 1 against the Texans. I think that was kind of a surprise.
We aren't excluded from that. I mean, there was cause for concern, for sure.
Definitely, especially if you looked a little further ahead, after this game, we're playing Seattle at home, and then we got to go to Houston, play another divisional game. We could easily looking at going to Houston down 0-3. That's it. That was an easy possibility. So yeah, I understand the concern, and then especially looking at how Jacksonville defense put up 10 sacks against Houston and just tore them up. There was some room for worry, but we put that worry to rest here. We dug the grave and we threw that worry in there, and then we threw some extra dirt on top.
Yeah, very much.
Okay, but anyways, my take on the game. Overall, real quick, I kind of think for our offense, it was the tale of two halves.
That's literally what I had in my notes verbatim. So you stole that from me, but go ahead.
You're just saying that,
continue.
man. No, it literally was. First half looked methodical. It kind of looked how we finished the game last week. Would get to the red zone, would have a couple crucial penalties. Just couldn't finish out drives, kept on settling for field goals. We went in the halftime up 6-3, and I'm like, we've already forced 3 turnovers at that point, had we? Or was it just 2? Anyways, we were winning the turnover differential, and our offense had only put up 6 points. That was just, a recipe for disaster almost, letting the Jags hang around, even though I thought, even in the first half, we looked like the better overall team. And our offense just wasn't getting it done. In the second half, we turned that around. So tale of two halves for the offense. Definitely got the run game going in the second half. Mariota looked more comfortable in the second half. He looked shaky in the first. As far as the defense, though, tale of the whole game, I want to give them the game ball just overall. Hats off to the defense. If they didn't play the way they did in the first half, it could have been a different game. We could have been going into halftime down and needing to score points to get back in the game. But luckily, they kept us in it basically until our offense could finally turn it into gear in the second half and take control. But, man, just great plays in the pass rush, forcing turnovers, getting hands on ball, playing coverage, getting after Bortles. I like the whole effort from our defense. Complete, full game by them, and I think that's what won it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we saw our defensive game plan, which was what should have been the game plan, is shutting down Leonard Fournette, forcing Blake Bortles to beat us, and that is likely not going to happen. So it was huge that we were able to contain Fournette. I know in the first half they were churning out yards. I remember that first drive, it looked exactly like how Jacksonville wanted to play this game. So he definitely was moving the sticks in the first on their first drive, which is a little bit concerning to see, but we hunkered down. We slowed them down, and once we got that lead, they had to rely on Blake Bortles to make plays, and they just couldn't get it done.
Oh, man, relying on Blake Bortles to make plays, that's just funny.
Oh, man.
Because
poor guy.
Man, he looks bad. Is it just me? It can't be just me. Everyone in the NFL sees it except for the Jaguars. Get that man on the bench.
Yeah, I truly think, Chad Henne is nothing to brag about, but he's got to be a better option than Blake Bortles.
Blake Bortles is literally handicapping that team, setting them years back by them still just waiting for him to come around. I don't want to trash Blake Bortles too much, but I want to.
Their best.
I'm trashing him.
You have already done it. It's set in stone.
Yeah.
But the best plays Blake Bortles made, I feel like, were when he scrambled the ball, running out of pressure. He made a few first down runs running the ball. And that's not what you want a senior quarterback unless you're Michael Vick, and he is not Michael Vick.
No, but
all right, yeah,
definitely, was that kind of your overall thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I had a few notes here that I kind of want to read off. Some streaks of note some no longer streaks anymore that I did want to point out that I saw.
Point them out. Point.
Streaks of note, this is our first road divisional win in 9 games, which I guess you could say 9 years. No, not 9. No, that
no, not
so
9.
9 games. 9 games.
Yeah.
So finally getting that little monkey off our back. A huge divisional win that this team desperately needed. And also, I saw this stat. This is the most second-half points this franchise has scored since we were the Oilers back in 91, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It was the early 90s. So
it was either 91 or 92, I believe.
So the most second-half points that the Tennessee Titans, you can definitely say, has ever scored.
31 second-half points. Ooh. 31.
Ooh. All right, so, yeah, you mentioned the tale of 2 halves here. I did want to read off.
Yeah, that you supposedly had word for word in your notes.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, you can see the tale of 2 halves. There's no.
I don't see it. He's making this up. He's stealing my words now.
And I did want to read off these first half drives, which were kind of let you know how this first half went. So opening drive was the Titans 3 and out. Jacksonville goes on a 12-play drive, field goal. We answer with our own 12 or 11-play drive, field goal. Then Jacksonville 3 and out. Titans 3 and out. Jacksonville 3 and out. I think I just lost myself here. Titans 3 and out. Jacksonville fumble. Titans throw that interception for Mariota in the red zone, which we'll probably get to later. Very ugly looking play when we were. I don't know if were we in the red zone, because if he threw that interception
in the red zone, I saw someone. I saw ESPN have the play up on their app saying that Mariota throws interception in the red zone. We weren't in the red zone yet. Right. I think the ball may have traveled into the red zone, but that doesn't count.
Yeah,
the possession did not start in the red
zone. Been within the 20-yard line.
So no, his streak is still going there.
And then we picked the ball right off again, crucial interception, and then we ended with a field goal to end the half, up 6-3. Just ugly offense that we saw in the first half, which was kind of the game that I kind of expected to see with strong defense trying to shut down the other's run game, which they did very well against in the first half when DeMarco Murray was in there, until we made that switch to Derrick Henry. We'll talk about that a little bit later as well. I think what I do want to talk about what I think broke the game open to really just shift momentum completely on our side for the rest of the game. It was in the third quarter. We had the ball. We were facing a 3rd and 11 outside of Jacksonville. We were just in Jacksonville territory. And I think this kind of helped the confidence of the offense entirely is Mariota's perfect pass to Delanie Walker. I think it was a 19-yard completion. I mean, he wasn't even open. Mariota threw him open, and Delanie Walker makes a great catch. Only ended up getting a field goal out of that drive, I think because of penalties that kind of pushed us back. So we go up 9-3, and then on Jacksonville's next possession, our defense forces the 3 and out, and then the play that I think completely got momentum on our side was Adoree Jackson's punt return right after that 3 and out. So a 46-yard punt return. Huge. Completely gave us the momentum, I think, for the rest of the game, because after that punt return, our offense finished with 4 straight touchdown drives. We finished with 4 straight touchdown drives. Actually, we finished by kneeling the ball, which is fine. It's totally fine with me, as long as we have the lead.
That's the victory formation.
But, I think, and I definitely want to mention this, is because last week in the post-game podcast, and also when we had Jonathan Hutton on as a guest, we brought up the coaching and the coaching adjustments. And if this coaching staff was able to make adjustments and turn things around, go away maybe from the original game plan. And I think we saw that they must have watched our videos, because they shut us up, because nothing was working on offense, at least as far as trying to get points on the board. And they made some kind of adjustment because our offense just lit it up, especially getting the running game going again. Mariota hitting passes again. It was a thing of beauty. So props to the coaching staff and the adjustments after a halftime that they made. And last thing before we finish my initial reactions is I would like to see a show of hands. Well, you can't see you guys raising your hands, but I know you're not going to raise them.
Virtually raise your hands while you're watching or listening to this podcast right now.
Show of hands of those of you who predicted the defense's first interception of the season going to Curtis Riley and Marcus Mariota's first touchdown pass of the season going to Jonnu Smith. which is a little bit more believable. But I wouldn't have picked Jonnu Smith to get Mariota's first touchdown pass, which was a thing of beauty. You tweeted this out. He looks like Delaney Walker.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say the pass wasn't a thing of beauty. It was just kind of your simple screen pass. But literally, Jonnu Smith looks like Delaney 2.0.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I don't know, because Delaney is kind of still Delaney 2.0 right now.
Yeah,
after cutting out of
version of himself. That's
but Jonnu is like Delaney reincarnated. They're like almost twins out there running. Like Jonnu's got some speed on him, man. Turned on those
honestly,
jets.
I thought that was Delaney Walker until like he finally like turned and I saw his number was 81. I was like, oh, well, good for him. First touchdown. Welcome to the NF of L.
Are you good? Is that
was any
more initial thoughts? That was
reaction.
Any more initial thoughts?
I'm just excited. This is a big win.
It was a good win.
We're in it, guys. We are in this thing. Our team is fine. I know there's concern after the game last week, but the Raiders currently blowing out the Jets like crazy, which, I mean, it's the Jets, but still, the Raiders are a great team. But anyway,
now looking back on game one, it looks like that was just a tough matchup for us. I mean, we knew that going in, the Raiders were a good team. They were a playoff team last year, possibly a Super Bowl contender with Derek Carr. So it's glad to see that it wasn't any kind of fluke or something when we came into Jacksonville and stomped them here. What is playing over there?
I'm going to shut off that volume.
But we did exactly, I think, what we wanted to do. Mariota only threw it 27 times. I think we said in our preview we didn't want to see Mariota throw it 41 times like he did last week. We made Bortles throw it over 30 times. Fournette only had 14 carries. Ivory only had 6, so they had 20 carries there. And then we got between Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray, and I'm going to throw David Fluellen in there, and Taywan Taylor. We used him. We got over 25 carries between those flurry of running backs, which was definitely an improvement from last week too. So, man, most of that was in the second half. Most of that damage came in the second half.
And then Fowler and Walker each got a carry, both going for touchdowns.
True. And Henry, got to give a shout out to him. New career high, 92 yards.
Great job. Great job, Henry. Yes.
Yeah, I thought the coaches were gonna let him, have his first 100-yard game, but they put him flu season.
And that drive, it wasn't the very last drive of the game, but we had a long drive. I think it was over an 80-yard drive where we just kept feeding Henry, and he kept churning out yards for first downs. That was amazing.
Great.
That's how you run the clock down and finish off a team.
Yes. By the way, I'm still wearing my Titan sunglasses from last week. I will always be ripping those in our post-game recap podcast. Why not? I mean, I don't know, because I like wearing sunglasses inside. Okay, let's move on. We had a lot of Twitter questions from you guys on the game that we want to get to. If you're not, I think that you should be following us on Twitter, because we pretty much live tweet the whole game, our takes, reactions, I don't know, opinions, jokes, whatever you have. So
you can get the gist of the game if you're not watching it yourself.
Yeah, it would behoove you to follow us at Titans_tube_YT on Twitter. And then always, if you have questions for us that you want us to answer in this, we'll answer them. Just tweet them at us after the game. So we're going to those right now.
Bring them on.
Okay. And then we'll kind of get into some of our thoughts on specific things like offense and defense after that. What do you say, Justin? Does that sound good to you?
I say that's a fantastic plan.
Okay. So right off the bat, kind of sticking with the running game, I'll do this one. Tweeted from Mo at BMO54, BMO54. That's not a typo. That's his username. He said, bigger concern, Murray injury or Davis injury. It looked like both of these guys kind of fell off late in the game. Corey Davis was a little quiet. He only had 1 catch for 4 yards, 3 targets. I did saw he went out with a hamstring injury, but promising he was in some of those late plays in the fourth quarter. So he came back in, and I heard in the locker room he doesn't think it'll be bad. And then with Murray, I actually did not know that he had gotten hurt or tweaked something, but apparently it's his hamstring too. And I kind of think that was one of the reasons we saw Henry get so many carries. So Justin, what do you think is the bigger concern here? The Murray injury or Corey Davis? They're both hamstrings, I believe. Both hamstrings.
They're both hamstrings. So I guess if the question is who we need more on the field and to not be hurt, if I have to pick one or the other, they're both great players, and we need them both to be healthy. But I'm going to go with Corey Davis simply because we saw how Derrick Henry can more than pick up the slack should DeMarco Murray come should go out of the game for whatever reason. Yeah, Corey Davis, we definitely need him on the field. He's another weapon that Mariota needs to have in his pocket to be able to throw to and utilize. He brings a completely different skill set to the receiving core. So yeah, I would go with Corey Davis. He needs to be on the field as much as possible for us every play. And there's situations where DeMarco Murray's coming off the field, but yeah, I think Corey Davis. That's more of a concern for me that he stays healthy than DeMarco Murray.
I agree with you. I think Henry can pick up the slack from Murray if he's still dealing with some kind of lingering hamstring injury. There's not really a person to fill the gap if Corey Davis goes down. I mean, we don't have a receiver like him. We have other good receivers, don't get me wrong, but I think we would definitely lose something off our offense if Corey Davis, if that injury becomes something more serious.
Yeah.
From the reports I'm hearing, it's nothing that serious, but from listening to just former NFL players talk about hamstring injuries, that can kind of just linger around possibly all season. They don't really,
For sure.
maybe never even get to 100% until after the season, during the offseason when you can really rest it up. So that's a little bit concerning. It doesn't seem like a big deal right now coming out of this game just based on the reports I heard, but I think it would be more serious if that affected Davis.
Yeah, but DeMarco Murray, I mean, he does everything so well that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. He can pass block much better than Henry can. He's a bigger threat, a bigger receiver threat out of the backfield than Henry is. So he's still very valuable to our team and brings things to the offense that Henry simply can't bring. But I think Corey Davis is the right answer. We need him healthy. For sure.
I mean, we need Murray too. I like what you said. I don't want to be belittling Murray. It's just we do have a very adequate running back to fill those shoes.
It is easy to say now after we saw Derrick Henry and the performance he had.
Yeah, okay. But I think, Davis is definitely the one in that game. Okay, in that category, that question.
Yeah, good.
Okay, moving on to another question. This comes from across the pond, at Dwyer_Thomas. Opinions. He asked for our opinions on Jack Conklin's poor performances these first two games of the season. I think I tweeted about it, had it in my notes. We only allowed one sack this game from Saxonville after they gave up 10 sacks. But it is obvious that Jack Conklin is not starting the season as he played last season. He had three big crucial penalties. I know one was a little controversial if it should have been called or not, but three big penalties that either killed drives or set drives back when we were in the red zone. Why do you think this is? Do you think he's regressing or
it's hard,
or it's something else?
It's hard to say. I don't know if it's regressing. It's possible that now teams have a whole year of game film on Conklin. They can figure out and pinpoint how he plays, what he does so well, and avoid it, or maybe force him into committing penalties, maybe expose his weaknesses, if there are any. I mean, I'm not an offensive lineman expert, so to speak. But it could be a number of things, but I think it's still too early to think that Conklin is regressing into a sophomore slump or anything. I mean, if you look at the entire offensive line as a whole, they played fantastic today, especially in the second half, and he should get a lot of credit for that too. I mean, if he was a sore spot throughout the entire game, that would have shown up. But it's easy to pick out the penalties because your numbers being called out in front of the entire national audience or everyone who's tuning into the game.
You're literally getting called out.
Yeah, and
in front of everyone.
And he was
everyone
pinpointed
watching
3 times, and it was crucial. I mean, we got pushed back out of field goal range, I think, a couple times.
I think one killed a drive when we were in the red zone, settled for a field goal in the first half.
Yeah,
I believe.
So, I mean, it's I don't think he's regressing. I just think he's having a slow start to the season. And maybe defensive game plans and players are kind of noticing some things that they can possibly expose in his game. But I think Conklin is a great player, and he can correct those things, and he'll be fine. Just after 2 games.
Agree. I mean, no reason to panic here. We only allowed 1 sack to the Raiders. We only allowed 1 sack to Saxonville here, and they both had great defensive, great pass rush. I mean, he was going up against Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin week 1. I mean, how many people go up against that matchup and only allow 1 sack?
Right.
And then this week, the defensive line and pass rush of Jacksonville only allowing 1 sack again. I know he gave up some of those penalties, but Overall, I think you heard it in Marcus Mariota's post-game press conference. Last year, he was walking out of this Jacksonville game. He wasn't walking out of this Jacksonville game. He was on crutches coming out of it. Today, he was able to walk off on his own 2 feet with a victory. I think you got to be happy about that. I think he'll continue to improve for sure. I mean, it's not easy for the offensive line. It's kind of like cornerbacks. It's never easy for an NFL defense. Every week you're going up against Khalil Mack's, Calais Campbell's. Next week we got Michael Bennett. Just there's going to be great people at every position. So it's a hard league, man.
Yeah.
And Jack Conklin's still young. I think, yeah, he's going to improve. He's not. No reason to think
fine. Yeah, he's just a slow start, just a rough kind of first couple games, and who knows? When the running game was on fire in the second half, I'll have to rewatch some highlights, rewatch some of the game, but it could have been him that was blowing people up off the ball and opening up those holes. So he could have just turned it around in that very same game. But yeah, you definitely got noticed some I don't know, poor play because of the penalties that were called out against him.
Yeah, and of course Taylor Lewan got another penalty in the game, but overall I think the line played well. I mean, they had to be slightly afraid. I mean, we were all slightly worried after Jacksonville put up 10 sacks. Yeah. I know we keep on mentioning that.
Is the right? I don't think they were scared.
They weren't. Okay, I don't know if the offensive line was scared, but fans were kind of freaking out. Right. And Jacksonville's Twitter handle definitely was all over it, jumping on that Saxonville crap. We shut that up now. Okay, but yeah, I think Conklin will be fine. I think he'll be fine. Well, we'll keep on. We got one of the best offensive lines in the league still, so
we'll keep an eye on him.
Just keep Mariota on his feet, and we're good. Okay, I'll settle for a few penalties if Mariota can finish every game, because I believe we'll win more than we'll lose if that's the case.
Yes.
Okay, going on from a question from Jake Shook at Shook Shake Sham. Best Twitter name so far, at Shook Shake Sham. He asked, is the Titans defense that good, or is it just the Jags offense being that bad? Justin, what do you think?
I don't think our defense is that good, like your week in and week out, but I think that we came in with a great game plan and we executed it very, very well against a team that ran the ball really well against Houston last week. And I think this defense can be very good. And I think after seeing what the Raiders are doing this week, that we actually overall played even better than what we thought. But I think the defense just had a really, really good game today. As a whole, we executed the game plan. We shut Fournette down. We forced Blake Bortles to make plays, and he just couldn't do it. So I think – I mean, they're a team in our division. We know them very well. We know what they do well, what they don't do well. And them not having Allen Robinson, I think, helped. For sure,
oh,
their number one receiver. So that played into our favor.
He's been a fit for us over the years.
Yeah, and what we had to shut like Mercedes Lewis didn't even have a catch. Their number one tight end.
No, he's getting too old, man.
And I think it's probably a little combination of the two because Jacksonville's offense is pretty bad, and I don't think the run game worked for them last week against the Texans, but I think that game was more of a blowout because of what their defense was able to do, and Houston's defense couldn't stay off the field. So I think it's a combination. Man.
But were you surprised by how well Jacksonville's run game succeeded in the first game against Houston's defensive line?
I think so, because I expected Houston's front seven and defensive line to be amongst the tops in the NFL.
Yeah, for sure.
And Fournette to be a rookie running back, and for that Jags offensive line to be not really there all the way. Definitely, and they're starting Cam Robinson, a rookie left tackle. So I was a little surprised. I was a little surprised about the success that they had. But man, we must have watched some game film and saw what they did well as far as blocking scheme goes and really shut it down because, yeah, we played extremely well. So I don't know if we're going to be like that good year in and year out or what or
week in, week out.
Week in, week out.
Year in and year out, just have that stellar defense.
If we played like that every single year overall, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I think it's more of we just had a very good defensive game plan and we executed it really well today.
I mean, yes, I agreed. I think our defense is good, and I think we can be that good. I think we can be very good consistently. Today we were great, and I definitely think that Jacksonville's lack of offensive talent possibly plays into that. I mean, I don't want to harp on this too much, but Blake Bortles should not be a starting QB in the NFL. You watch him for a half of football and you know that guy's missing something. I'm sorry, Bortles. I'm sure you're a great human, but I don't know if you should be leading a team as a quarterback. But the things I was really encouraged about, using our hands. I mean, I think 2 of those interceptions we got tipped balls on. Something I think
that's good coaching.
At some point last year, you don't see that a lot. I mean, we always see that from like J.J. Watt and the Texans and other great defenders. Von Miller swatting down the balls. I don't think our defenders do that a lot. So it was encouraging to see that this game because you get your hand on the balls, you're going to force some turnovers. Shout out, Curtis Riley. I think Avery Williamson tipped him that one. I saw even before we got an interception, I think it was Brian Arakpo swatted down a pass.
Yeah, he did.
I think we're learning. They're getting better. Also, on Brian Arakpo's sack, I remember mentioning this at some point last year when him and Morgan were racking up all those sacks. I wanted them Arakpo was racking up those sacks, but I wanted to see them go for the ball more, try to force some turnovers. I think our defense is good enough at this point to where we can start taking a few more chances and going for the ball, going for the strip, going for the interception. And so I'd like to see it. Our defense looked hungry out there today. Maybe they just knew that they were kind of, overmatched. Maybe they knew that they overmatched the Jags. They overmatched the Jags, yeah.
I think
especially with Robinson out.
Yeah, and that too. And I think how our defense and our weakness is in the secondary. Well, if you have Blake Bortles on the other side, I think naturally that plays into our favor.
Definitely.
In the game plan and our execution and just trying to shut down the run game. I think if the Jaguars had another quarterback, even a middle ground quarterback, like I don't know,
like maybe Chad Henne.
I don't know about him. I mean, if they had like a Kirk Cousins, Sam Bradford,
Colin Kaepernick.
I have no idea. He's not even in the league. Is he even good anymore?
I'm just saying, why aren't the Jags looking at him? Okay,
yeah, that's a good point. But it could have been a different game, but I think Blake Bortles made our defense look pretty good.
Yeah, he did. But don't want to take away anything from our defense because they played incredible. Kevin Byard had some great coverage. Everyone, Denora Cersei with an interception. Curtis Riley just signed him. Active today, and he gets an interception. It was a tip play, but give it to him, guys. Will we be that good week in and week out? I don't think so, but I think our defense has a chance to continue to improve and grow, and I think consistently we can be a really good defense in this league.
Yeah, for sure. It's hard to say week in and week out because the Jacksonville Jaguars offense played perfectly into what we're good at and what we're not good at. So.
In our pregame we talked about shutting down the run. I don't know if he finishes with this, but late in the fourth quarter, in the second half, Fournette only had 4 carries for 7 yards. I don't know if he got any more after that. I think I tweeted that, and I haven't checked the second half.
We did start building a lead, we started building a lead in the third quarter, so they kind of had to get away from the running game like that a little bit.
True, but that's the game plan. Take him away out of the running game. Make Blake Bortles throw it because he ain't going to beat you. But, we did outscore him 17-0 in the third quarter. So whatever, gave him some of Michael's secret stuff at halftime to get him going. But we came out firing. Yeah. Okay, staying with the defense, we got Carlos Super Lighter. I don't know. Okay, at Cracklos 69. Asks comments on Adoree Jackson's performance.
I thought he was good. I thought he was great. Obviously, he had that big punt return on defense. I thought he was good. The one thing I remember initially that kind of stood out, that ended up working out fine because it was overthrown, was he got burned a little bit by number 84. I can't remember what his name was. Bortles put it a little bit out of reach for him. I think the Jags fans were a little bit... thought that Adoree Jackson probably grabbed the receiver a little early, maybe should have been a defensive pass interference. So he did get burned on that one play, but it was an overthrown pass anyway.
But I thought people were complimenting on his defense. Could it have been called? Definitely.
That's just one thing that stood out to me. I know that he made some nice tackles, even though the ball was caught, he didn't allow any yards after catch. He made a great play against Leonard Fournette in the backfield.
Tackle
that was
for
the
loss,
best defensive
one-on-one,
play that he made.
I was going to point that out if you didn't. That was stellar.
Yeah,
that's my word of the day today. Stellar.
After we were missing tackles on him for a good portion of the game. Remember when Cersei came up and just rocked him and ended up he got rocked himself harder than Fournette. And then Walden missed a tackle and he bounced it outside.
That same drive our tackling was pretty shoddy because the play before, I believe, their other running back, whatever his name was, Corey Grant broke off. We had him in the backfield, and he ended up outrunning both of our linebackers for 13 yards. And then the next play, we can't bring down Leonard Fournette. But overall, yes, I think our tackling was better than it was against the Raiders.
And it got better over the course of the game,
it
seemed like.
Yes, there was that one stretch, I think it was in the third quarter when that happened, where it kind of looked a little iffy, but we got it back together.
But yeah, I thought Adoree Jackson had a really good game.
I did too.
I can't wait. He almost had an interception as well. It kind of went through his hands. I don't know if he would have come down in bounds with it. It was right on the sideline, but ball went right through his hands. But yeah, he had good coverage, and if he gave up a catch, the receiver didn't get any yards after catch. Had that punt return, tackled Leonard Fournette in the backfield all by himself. How many pounds has he given up to Leonard Fournette? And he was able to bring him down.
Pounds, inches, muscle size. I don't know. Yeah.
So, yeah, I thought he was really good. I'm liking what I'm seeing in Adoree Jackson so far.
I am, too. I mean, I think we're going to see him at least take a few back to the house on punt returns. That is, I mean, I think if you've been a fan of the show for any amount of time, I think you'll remember me talking about the punt return game last year and how it was non-existent.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see something different. I'm seeing that now with Adoree Jackson. And I don't know. Is that reason enough to say that he was worth the 18 overall pick? No. But I think he's, with that combined with how pretty solid he's been as a cornerback, I think he's showing everyone he was worth that first round draft pick so far.
And he makes those momentum changing plays. Like I said, the momentum changing play for me was that 46-yard punt return when we were winning 9-3, and after that we ripped off 4 straight touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, you saw him return that, and I was like, oh man, we're punching this one in. There's no way we're not going to take that. The whole team is hyped up, and then Derrick Henry just pounded it
right over Jalen Ramsey.
Right over Ramsey. Sit down, son. Yeah, I thought he was good. I mean, you're gonna. When they got down, that Bortles is going to start throwing it, slinging it around, and he gave up a few plays here and there to Marquise Lee. Mm-hmm. That's just going to happen, but
and we're probably playing some prevent defense at the same time.
Yeah,
during that situation in the game.
But very encouraging performance. So thank you for that tweet, Mr. Carlos Superlighter. Something like that. Okay, I think we got one more. This is looking ahead to next season. Oh, okay, never mind. We got 2 more. Not next season, next week. Okay. From Cody Milholland at Mr. Milholland. I hope I'm saying that right. He says, what's up with Decker in you guys' opinion? Eric Decker, if you know, he finished with 3 catches for 32 yards, had 5 targets.
Which tied for the lead of the team.
Did tie for the lead.
Rashard Matthews also had 5 targets.
Obviously, he was kind of an eyesore from game 1, if you remember that. Not an eyesore, but he didn't have the best game. And we went to him. Marcus was looking his way early again, almost like we game planned for that, and missed a few passes here and there. Ended up with a few catches. Overall, what do you think of Eric Decker?
I thought he had a better game this game. I mean, he caught, you read off his stats. He had a couple catches for first downs. But overall, it still looks like Delaney Walker and Rashard Matthews are the leaders in the receiving game on this team. So with Corey Davis, Eric Decker, and Taywan Taylor coming in, Taywan Taylor had a fantastic catch. He only had 1 catch, but it was a beaut.
True. After that injury he suffered, I thought it was going to be serious. It was a twisted ankle. I thought it was actually his Achilles tendon because he was grabbing at the back of his ankle. I'm like, this could be bad. What do you know? Next possession, all I see is someone with a little sweep off to the left. I'm like, whoa, that guy looks fast. Whoa, that's Taywan Taylor. Okay.
Yeah. Whoa. And then, he's beating AJ Aboye for a
42-yard diving catch. Beauty of a dime by Marcus Mariota,
too. Just lulling him to sleep, thinking that he was going to be injured, but no. Anyway, so the question in the
Eric Decker, we were talking about Taywan Taylor, but back to Eric Decker.
I'm not really sure. Do you think he looks a little slower? Does he look a step slower, just overall? Or, my initial thought after you read that question is that I think he's still developing, chemistry with Mariota, trying, and maybe not that as much as trying to fit him in and where he fits into the offense as a whole and to the game plan each week. And we're still trying to figure out how to use him, I guess, per se. But, he found an open spot, I remember, it might have been a 3rd down play for like a 10-yard completion. So I think it's there. Obviously, Mariota's looking his way a lot. So hopefully he can improve on that. But I think it's just finding his fit into the offense kind of issue right now.
That I think you put it perfectly. Honestly, I hadn't really thought about that, but now kind of thinking about back to how we recapped the game last week, and then in our segment with Jonathan Hutton from Midday 180, which you haven't watched, you should watch. People saying the offense looked out of sync last week. I think we're still just trying to figure out these pieces we have, and I think Decker's a key to that. Missed a lot of time in the preseason and training camp with injuries, so still trying to figure out what we got with this offense. And it's not making it easy that we keep on dealing with injuries. Corey Davis now with a hamstring issue kind of coming back, so I don't know, man. Yeah. That's just the NFL, too. Every week, every team's dealing with injuries. I mean, Patriots are now going without Julian Edelman. Yeah. Gronk got hurt today. I don't think it's serious, but it's stuff you got to deal with. You don't like it, but it happens, and I think you're exactly right. We're trying to figure out where Decker's going to fit in this offense. We know he's a solid receiver. I think we want to get him involved, especially early, maybe to take some pressure off so we can go to our key guys later in the game. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think his strength so far for our team definitely is almost returning onside kick attempts for touchdowns.
Oh my gosh, I would have lost it if he had done awesome. That. Yeah, that would have. Why did he stop? He stopped. He
stopped and tackled.
I wanted to see him truck stick a guy and get in the end zone on that onside kick. Come on,
throw someone down. Come on.
But yeah, I think he'll find his spot. I think he'll find where he fits in this offense, especially once Davis gets back to being fully healthy, maybe gets a few more games under his belt and really becomes that true number one wide receiver we're looking for, and then maybe you'll see Decker kind of fill the role that he was meant to fill. Fill it. Okay, thank you for that question. Last question, that we got right now, and then we're move
spending
on to
a lot of time on these questions.
Well,
but hey,
it's good. We're talking about a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah,
too.
It is, and it's about interacting with the fans.
Yeah, good questions
as well.
Good questions. A lot of general stuff. Stop touching my leg. Lastly, from Titans 18-1. So we're going to go undefeated the rest of the year and win Super Bowl. Great Titans G&G. Asked, what do you think the Titans need to improve? Excuse me.
Is that part of the question?
Yes. What do you think the Titans need to improve on to beat the Seahawks next week? Obviously, big matchup. Seattle Seahawks coming into Nissan next Sunday. It'll two tough games out of our first 3 games. We played the Raiders at home, and we get the Seahawks at home. Already lost one of those.
Really prolific quarterbacks coming into Nissan Stadium.
Yeah. What do you think? What do the Titans need to improve on?
Oh man, after this game, I would say, after the first 2 games for the offense, we need to figure out how to get off to a faster start. In my opinion,
yes.
We started out slow, only put up 6 points at halftime. In this game, I think we had 7 points in the first half against the Raiders. And I know that's easier said than done because the Seahawks are going to be bringing a great defense into town. They're going to be better than the Jaguars and the Raiders defense.
Side note, I love how you pronounce Jaguars.
How do I say it? Is it
Jaguars?
Jaguars,
like W-I-R-E-S.
Jaguars.
Sorry, I just think it's
it's funny. How do you pronounce it?
Jaguars.
Jaguars. I don't say Jaguars.
Jaguars.
How about the Jags?
It's a little thing. I just wanted to point out the difference between us so people don't think we're the same person.
Is it 3 syllables, Jaguars or Jaguars?
Jaguars.
I didn't learn that in English class.
Jaguars. Okay, sorry. Keep going.
I think the key and an important thing is to get off to a faster start. We haven't seen that in the first 2 games yet. It might be tough sledding against Russell Wilson and that Seattle passing offense, at least. They're not bringing in a very strong offensive line. I know a lot of people that talk about the Seahawks team is that they have a weak offensive line. They don't give Russell Wilson adequate protection. But who needs to protect Russell Wilson when he can scramble with the best of them in the NFL at the quarterback position? I think that's my key. I think we just need to get off to a faster start. That's the thing that this team needs to improve on most right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna say ditto. I think our defense is good enough to shut them down. It's our offense. I think is going to be the key to the game. We'll cover that in the preview episode more. But yeah, I did Justin echo you. Okay, let's get into that's all the questions we have. Thank you for those. We covered a lot of stuff. Overall, let's just get into quick stuff on the offense. Obviously did better in the second half, 31 points. Mariota looked shaky in the first half. I mean, that interception, I thought it was bad when I saw it live. When I saw the replay, it looked horrible.
It was like if I think it was Telvin Smith. If he didn't get the interception, it would have been intercepted by Gibson.
Yeah, and Johnny Smith was at least 3 to 4 yards away, almost going in the opposite direction. I don't know if that was some kind of miscommunication on the route.
But even if it was, even if he ran the right route, I feel like it still would have been intercepted.
Yeah, it was a bad read and throw. Marcus should have had no business throwing that ball. I think it just looked like he was, at that point of the interception, he looked shaky. He was just trying to make something happen, tried to do too much, which we've seen Marcus do in the past in the first 2 seasons. When he feels that pressure and he knows something needs to be done, he tries to do too much, and most of the time it leads to a turnover. Thank God this turnover did not end up in 6 points for the Jags like all of his turnovers last year did. But
something else that stood out to me too is that he missed Rashard Matthews on like an up and out route to the sideline early in the game, which could have been a big third down conversion for us. He just threw it a little bit too far. He looked a little bit inaccurate on those throws. I remember he overthrew Eric Decker on another third down, and Eric Decker was covered anyway, so I don't think, even if it was a good pass, it possibly could have been intercepted, but I don't see Eric Decker coming down with that. So, yeah, I don't know. Shaky start for Mariota a little bit.
Shaky start for Mariota, shaky start for the whole offense. I thought, and we've, like you said, against the Seahawks, we got to start faster. It looked like Mariota was off. Looked like Decker was off. Looked like the play calling was off in the first half.
Murray was a little bit off, but I thought the opening up the holes for him wasn't really even there too at the same time.
When do we take this offense just being off for a half and attribute it to something greater, like like offensive play calling or Terry Robisky, something, or Mike Mularkey, something like that? Because I feel like we're talking about this so far every week. Week 1 and week 2. At some point, the offense is looking really shaky. It seems to be mostly at the beginning of games, but actually it was kind of the last half of week 1.
And it's hard to criticize whether if it's the play calling or the execution on the play calling. Because let's take 2 plays that seemed very similar that we ran, 2 different plays that we ran twice, I think. So Johnny Smith had 2 catches, one of them going for a touchdown and one of them being taken back for a loss. But it seemed like, because he had another catch that wasn't his touchdown, that looked like it was supposed to be a screen pass setup for him, and he got taken down for a loss, and it looked like just a bad play, bad design and whatnot. Then we saw Taywan Taylor. He had 2 carries. One of them went for like 17 yards, and one went for like 0 yards. So, and I don't know, I feel like we have some good plays. We have good play designs, but it's just like in the situation that we're running them, if we're getting the right look or not, whether that's Mariota's job or not, or Terry Robisky's initial play call. I don't know if it's more the play call or if it's the situation in which we're trying to run those plays that just seems a little off. Because we have success with them at points, and then at other points they just get blown up and taken down. So
you're saying it's very the situation where we're calling the plays. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We got to improve upon that, or maybe that's on Mariota if he to change that play when he sees the formation, the defensive formation. Just thinks it's not going to work.
I'm not a coach, obviously. I'm just a stinking fan that watches the game. I'm just throwing that thought out there that maybe that has some to do with it. Why, that these plays that seem to make no sense, like we ran a double fake reverse and then tried to screen it to Murray.
Yeah, and it took at least 15 seconds to develop.
Yeah, like that was poorly executed, I think. I doubt it would have worked out big time if it was executed perfectly. It just seemed like it seemed like maybe an odd time to run the game. That was early in the game. It was a second down play. I don't know.
Saw a lot of formations where DeMarco Murray was motioned out of the backfield, split out. Yeah. Never really made anything of it.
Mariota wasn't even looking his way. I was like, maybe we'll throw a screen to him. Yeah. He'll run like a slant.
I kept on waiting for something to develop. Maybe partially it never did because Murray kind of dealt with that injury late in the game. I don't know. As far as Mariota did have some great passes, especially in the second half, some dimes. Taywan Taylor, I know he had a few to Rashard Matthews, who, by the way, Rashard is still just killing it so far this season. I love him more and more every game. I did one thing when we got down into the red zone in the first half. We threw a fade to Rashard. I think that's Corey Davis territory right there.
Yeah, I would agree.
I would love to see us utilize him. Yeah. It would have been the exact Corey Davis's first catch in the NFL, I'm just having visions of that happening again against the Jags in that same play situation. Why are we throwing? I love Rashard, but he's not the guy you throw a fade to in the red zone.
Yeah, he's our best receiver in terms of having one-on-one coverage and throwing up a 50-50 ball. He's the best at coming down with those.
But I love having Rashard and Delaney as like they're not even like safety blankets for Mariota. They're like solid.
Yeah,
I mean Rashard is solid receiver. Delaney's a dynamic tight end. Delaney looks great too. I know they're all harking on how he cut out pork out of his diet, lost some weight, looking super fast. He is looking super fast.
Yeah,
he's looking great out there.
He catches everything too, man.
He might have one of the best seasons ever if he keeps it up like this. One rushing touchdown. He's never had that before.
Yeah, sweet. I really like that play because we have a lot of motion in the backfield, and then Mariota hikes it and runs either a run to the running back or throws the ball. But when we're doing that constantly and not giving the ball to whoever's in motion back there, and then we do it, I think I didn't see that coming. Who did see that coming?
Yeah,
running a little end around or whatever to Walker.
A lot of motion in the backfield this game. Sometimes it paid off, sometimes it didn't.
So, I don't know. Is the play calling good or not? Who knows?
It's hard.
It was really good at times in this game, I think, and then other times it's just like head scratching.
I mean, like you said, the Jonnu Smith screenplay for his touchdown was like beautifully called, beautifully executed, and then the other time it looked like we ran the same play, or if that screenplay had been better executed, we may have been saying the same thing. Mm-hmm. It's really hard / easy at the same time. It's a fine line to teeter when you're talking about criticizing play calling.
Just teeter-tottering.
Just teeter-tottering on the line of, if we had executed that play better, it could have gone for 50 yards, but we didn't, so it looks like a terrible play, tackle for a loss. I don't know.
Cool. Let's stay with the offense. I do want to make sure we cover this because I know this is probably going to be talked about this week a lot. But
let me guess, Derrick Henry, DeMarco Murray.
Yes, that's it. How'd you know?
Because I think it's the other big, maybe the storyline coming out of this game for the offense.
The big discussion point, Derrick Henry has his best game as a pro, possibly getting his most extensive workload as a pro. I don't know if he's ever had 14 carries before in a game for us. Running for 92 yards, 1 touchdown, 6.6 yards a pop.
I mean, looking beastly.
Man, just salted that game away. They could not stop him on those last few drives that we were, trying to just run down the clock. They couldn't stop us. I mean, did we wear them down as the game went along? I know it was super hot, like over 100 degrees, I think, in Jacksonville.
Maybe heat index. I don't know if the actual degree was.
Yeah, but I mean, it could have been something to that effect. Maybe the offensive line was just, wearing them down, opening up better holes. Maybe the play calling was better, or maybe Derrick Henry was just a better player on this day than DeMarco Murray.
Yeah.
It could be all of it.
Would you like to be a Jacksonville defender in the fourth quarter having to tackle Derrick Henry? I mean, Jalen Ramsey didn't want none of that.
No.
I mean, come on. He touches the ball and he gets at least 3 yards by just falling forward automatically.
And it's crazy because he is so good at when the hole that it seems like he's supposed to run through gets plugged up, he's quick on his decision to just bounce it outside, and he can beat the defender over to the sideline 9 times out of 10, give a 6 stiff arm, gain an extra few yards. He is so good at that, at bouncing runs outside.
His lateral speed is deceiving, and then his power, I mean, I think we all knew he was powerful coming in, but you really see it. And he's very decisive, been very decisive. Yeah. Sometimes running backs aren't decisive enough when the hole gets filled, but he's been very decisive. It's great to see. So what do you think? What do you think about this? Who would you want to see more, Murray or Henry? I mean, this was a big thing
It's easy to say Henry now, but I know a lot of people are going to be calling for him now, but I think it depends on the extent of Murray's hamstring. If we're going to see the DeMarco Murray that we saw today in games moving forward, if he can't, fully recover from that. I mean, and I say this a lot, but I trust Murray 10 times out of 10 more in passing situations to be on the field more than Henry. He's a better receiving threat. He's a better pass blocker and blitz pickup than Henry is. So he still provides extreme value to our team in that regard. But when running the football, I mean, he was clearly more effective than DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, how much do you think of this just being a situational thing? I think I saw a lot of experts. I think I was listening to Titans Talk back, and they were saying that everyone always brings up the game against the Chicago Bears last year, where both of them, Murray and Henry, were equally. I mean, they weren't injured. Like, they were both healthy, but Henry just looked way more effective in that game. Had just had a way better game, and they were saying he was just on that day, and Murray wasn't really on that day. Is that the case here?
People keep referring to that Bears game as when DeMarco Murray's great season kind of came to a halt. And after that Bears game, he just wasn't the same. And it seems like after 2 games this season, he hasn't been the same still since that Bears game. So I don't know. It's possible he's got the hamstring injury. I don't know. What was the question?
Who do you want to see? I said, do you think Henry's success, like in this game, is very situational?
He's especially after this game. I think he's earned more snaps, more playing time, getting more opportunities to carry the football now. I think the days of bringing in Derrick Henry to carry the ball 5 to 7, 8 times is over. And I feel like it should be over. I think we should almost be at a 50-50 split now, even if they're both 100% healthy. But yeah, and we could have a bigger workload now going forward if this hamstring is going to continue bothering Murray.
Yeah, which I think every Titans fan is fine with that. Yeah. If Murray needs some time to rest up, I think we got that adequate backup. But yeah, I think we talked about it in even preseason how I thought we would, especially by the end of the year, transition to more of a pretty evenly split backfield. We may start seeing that more quit sooner and earlier in the season. This game warrants it, I think. Still love Murray. Don't want to plug our own stuff a lot, but go listen to our episode with Hutton, because Hutton really talks about the stuff of DeMarco Murray that you don't see. I think Hutton called him possibly the best football player on the team, just overall. And I remember I tweeted out this during the game. A lot of things you don't see that Murray doesn't get credit for is blitz pickup, pass protection. He's excellent at that. Or just even going out on a route and chipping the guy in the corner. That's a huge help to pass protection there if you can have a guy like that.
He's got that veteran savvy.
And I think he's better in the receiving game than Derrick Henry. So I love the combination of them. I think they should still lean towards more of a split backfield more. And then depending on the situation, hey, if Murray's starting to feel it, you can kind of lean on him some more that game. If Henry's, being more effective, you can lean on him. I really like what we got right now. I think it's, especially with Henry just coming into his own, it's making us more dangerous than I even thought we could be at running back.
And that was a story, too, in the offseason. And another plug, Hutton talks about this. But Derrick Henry came in to training camp, came into the offseason workouts just looking like even more of a beast. Like, he was working out. He was getting his body in shape. And even in practices, you had to write something about him because he was just drawing all the attention throughout practices. Everybody was taking note of how good that he looked in practice this offseason.
Yeah, and another play. Hutton mentioned it too. It's not that Derrick Henry's not a good football player either. He said, after every training camp practice, Henry was always like, "Oh yeah, he had a great practice. He's a good football player too." Mm-hmm. I'm walking out of the situation being like, we have some crazy good weapons in the backfield. I hope we can utilize them well, and I think we will. Yeah. I like it, man. I like it. That's good. I would hate to be opposing defenses looking at Murray and Henry in the backfield. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't even matter which one. Yeah. I like them both.
For sure. Yeah. Hopefully they can be that effective against Seattle next week. They got a tough defense, but hey.
They do.
Liked what we were able to do against this supposedly very strong Jacksonville defense.
Yeah, so, very nice. Very effective. They were both... Henry was super effective. We got the job done in the run game, established the runs.
Got it done. Going over 50 minutes here. Yeah. Do we have any more to say about the offense?
No.
Talk about the defense. Anything to say?
And I feel like I pretty much summed up my thoughts on the defense in my initial game recap. Just solid all across the board. Loved the enthusiasm and the hunger.
Sacks.
2 sacks, one resulting in the fumble and the turnover.
Both of our edge guys, Morgan and Arakpo. Morgan getting a sack in back-to-back games now. He's looking good this year.
He was looking good.
Also had a pass deflection.
Jarrell Casey had a better game than last week, but that was easy. He could only go up from last week. Yeah. Because he had the worst game of his career, but he was in on a few crucial run stops. Hasn't gotten in the sack column yet, but...
he will. He'll get there. Probably against Seattle because they don't have a good line.
That's right.
But we'll see.
He'll get there.
How about Wesley Woodyard leading our team in tackles after he had that killer game in our Madden challenge?
Seriously. Madden gods really bringing it out this year. I mean, we rushed for 4 touchdowns against the Jags in Madden. In real life, we rushed for 3. And yeah, Wesley Woodyard having a game in Madden, having a game in real life.
They answered our prayers.
So watch our Madden challenge every week.
Because it predicts is the future. 100%.
Yeah, but that honestly, I loved how our defense played today. Want to see that continue.
Yeah, let's see. We talked about Adoree Jackson. Talked about Kevin Byard making plays back there. Curtis Riley, guy we signed in the offseason, coming up with the team's first interception. And how about, I know I texted you about this, but how about Jayon Brown?
Brown,
it says he had 1 tackle.
Yes. But that tackle, though.
That tackle was sick. I think it was Chris Ivory. He just came flying in there. I think it was on a 3rd down play. Bortles threw it to him in the flat, and he just cut him down immediately. Beautiful tackle.
The pass was incomplete. He knocked the ball.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, the hit jarred the ball free. Tore his incomplete.
I had some bad reception watching the game, so maybe I missed that. But yeah, okay, it does say he had a pass defensed, so that was probably it. But yeah, Jayon Brown coming in, making an impact too. Yeah, these rookies we have, these free agents that we're signing, Curtis Riley, making an impact. Go J-Rob. Props to J-Rob on that.
And J-Rob we trust.
J-Rob we trust. Any other defensive performances? LaShawn Sims came back, had his first game.
Good to see him out there.
3 tackles, yeah.
When our defense is healthy, it's I think they can be good. I think they can definitely good enough to where when our offense is kind of struggling out of the gates or at some point in the game like they were today, that our defense can be solid enough to wait for the offense to come around.
Yeah.
And they just played. I think they played a complete game. I know Blake Bortles, Mr. Garbage Time, got his garbage time touchdowns. But come on, at one point it was 30-3.
Ooh, man,
that's what I'm talking about. That makes me salivate for some more people.
Yeah, oh man, what a start! Just going up one. We're 1-1, but I think most importantly we're 1-0 in the AFC South. Need to keep that going.
That's what matters.
That is the key thing that this team overall needs to improve on this year. And if we can have success in the AFC South, I think we're definitely going to make the playoffs.
That was a big knock on us last year. Couldn't get the job done in our division. I mean, we beat 5 of the playoff teams last year in the regular season, but couldn't beat the teams that mattered, our divisional teams. And we got, right off the bat, in the first 6 weeks, we played the Jags. We got Houston in 2 weeks. Then we got the Colts coming here on Monday night. Haven't beat the Colts in 11 straight games. I am going to be so hyped for that.
We'll see if Andrew Luck is back by then. So, that's a huge matchup.
That is all I got for today, man. You got anything? Any closing thoughts?
Special teams. Obviously, Adoree Jackson's the big picture. Brett Kern seemed to shank some punts. Kind of short-legged some punts, but
did we even punt in the second half?
No, we had like 4 straight touchdowns. It was freaking awesome.
We had 4 touchdowns. Yeah, it was crazy.
Suckup is still not perfect. He was 3 for 3, not perfect on the season. He missed a 52-yarder.
He's perfect for under 50 yards,
which he was last year with us as well.
Yeah, no, he currently has the Titans' record for most consecutive field goals made within 50 yards.
Way to not suck it up, suck up.
Oh, bam, ba-dum, ching.
Ba-dum, chink.
All right,
all right. I think I'm good.
All right, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys for watching. Let us know in your comments below anything we missed. Or your thoughts on the game. We'd love to hear your take. So see you guys later. Thank you. As always, hashtag Tighten Up. Tighten up right there.
Yeah. Huh.
Where's how do you stop this thing? Where's that remote thing?
We're just going to keep rolling forever.
Here we go. Beep.